Hello everyone, this is a bit of a different video today. So I was experimenting with Hypertranslate, in which it's a service where you put text in and an AI Google translates it as many times as you want. So I decided to take one of my favorite stories as a kid, which is Mr. Clumsy by Roger Hargreaves. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And I'm going to first read the book normally so you understand it, then read the Google translated version. I will put a timestamp somewhere in this video to let you know when the Google translated stuff starts. So, here we go. Mr. Clumsy. Okay, I'm in the right section. Okay. It was rather a nice morning. In the sky, the sun was up, shining. In the trees, the birds were up, singing. But in a rather scruffy house in the middle of a field, somebody wasn't up. Can you guess who that somebody might be? His alarm clock went off. Mr. Clumsy woke up and reached out an arm to switch off his alarm clock, and knocked it on the floor. "Whoops," he said. "That's the third alarm clock I've broken this week." Mr. Clumsy, as you might have guessed, was a rather clumsy fellow. He went downstairs. The postman had come, and there was a letter waiting for Mr. Clumsy lying on his doormat. He picked it up and went into his kitchen. "First things first," he said, and took a slice of bread out of his bread bin and popped it into his toaster. "Now," I thought, "I wonder who this letter is from." He looked at the letter in his hand, but the letter wasn't in his hand. What was in his hand was a slice of bread. "I don't understand it," he said. "Where's the letter gone?" Can you guess where the letter had gone? That's right. He'd put the letter in the toaster instead of the bread. And there it was, browning nicely. "Whoops," he said, fishing it out. "Ouch," he said, dropping it. "It's hot." Mr. Clumsy bent down to pick the letter up, but in doing so, he banged his forehead on the kitchen table, and in doing so, he fell forward and got his head stuck in the bread bin. All of which wasn't surprising, really. As we said, he was a rather clumsy fellow. In fact, he was a very clumsy fellow. Actually, he was one of the clumsiest people in the whole world. That very same morning, after he managed to get the bread bin off his head, Mr. Clumsy went to town, shopping. "First things first," he said, and went to the bank to get some money. And somehow, while he was at the bank, Mr. Clumsy, while he was writing a check, managed to spill ink all over the bank manager. "Whoops," said Mr. Clumsy. He went into the butcher's. "Hello, butcher," he said cheerily. And then he somehow managed to trip over his shoelaces and somehow managed to fall into the butcher's shop window and somehow managed to get wound up with a string of sausages around his neck. "Whoops," he said. Mr. Clumsy's next visit was the supermarket. Just inside the door, there was a huge pyramid pile of cans of soup. Well, you can imagine what happened, can't you? Exclaimed Mr. Clumsy. "Soup would be nice for supper." And he picked up a can. Not a can for the top pile. Oh no, not Mr. Clumsy. "Whoops," said Mr. Clumsy, and went on his way, rubbing his head. On his way home, he stopped at the farm for some eggs, and somehow he was crossing the farmyard, he managed to trip up. And somehow, as he was falling, he managed to grab hold of the farmer, and somehow, they both managed to finish up in the duck pond. Splash! "Whoops," said Mr. Clumsy. "Please," said the farmer as they sat together in the duck pond. "In the future, can I deliver my eggs to you?" "That's extraordinarily kind of you," replied Mr. Clumsy. "Don't mention it," muttered the farmer. Mr. Clumsy went home. "First things first," he said, and went to take a bath. But as he was stepping into the bath, his foot somehow managed to slip on the soap, and he somehow managed to turn a somersault, and he somehow managed to land with his head in the laundry basket. "Whoops," said in a muffled voice. Later, he went downstairs for supper. Soup from the supermarket, sausages from the butcher's, and eggs from the farm. Or rather, soup from the saucepan that had boiled over, sausages from the frying pan that had caught fire, and eggs. Oh dear, very, very, very scrambled eggs. A normal Mr. Clumsy sort of supper. "That was nice," he said, leaning back in his chair. Crash! "Whoops," said Mr. Clumsy. I think I'd better go to bed. And he did. And that is the end of the story. Good night, Mr. Clumsy. Mr. Clumsy leaned over to turn off his bedside light. And, oh dear, whoops. So there you go. That is Mr. Clumsy normally. Now, on my computer, I have the translation pulled up here. So here's Mr. Clumsy once again. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to walk, and I'm not going to cancel on the internet. And I'm going to cancel on the internet. And I'm not going to cancel on the internet. I'm going to walk. P crystal alarm, left ankle and turned back. Stop pain and arms, and hit the spot predicted match slots. Wake up third alarm block. Decide, stop in the back. Swarovski alert to the wrist and fire. A gross price on sale, not top. I gave you a writer in the kitchen. I miss. I went to the kitchen and received the message from the private bed. Made a satellite. I wonder the letter of this source. And I wonder what this letter was purchased. Went to the kitchen. Received a message from the private bed. Bought a satellite. And wonder where this letter came from. I saw the letter, but there was no mail letter. Dev left her, but the letter wasn't in your hands. Where can I find the letter? A letter to the post office. Put the character in the pot. I wrote more text messages than the table. I wrote him a letter. I wrote MS instead of the table. Contact us. Fish. Always hot. He told me hot. He told me I wrote him a letter. Always. I'm leaving. I wrote MS instead of the table. I saw the character. I wrote MS instead of the table. The compass plays on the kitchen table. Fell in love with pancakes. Changed the world. A good man on the kitchen table. Because it was very strange to change the pot. I heard he was a pretty clumsy guy. The letter, and if you can, alien people change the world. But what I do is throw it onto the kitchen table. More than changing the world. Yeah, alien people change the world. I heard the letter. We like pancakes. The compass stays out of the kitchen table. We like pancakes. He was a very stereotyped man. This morning, he said the first thing he brought was the shopping creams went into town. Exactly the same morning and the first one he bought up in the morning. First of all, he said, I wrote OH in the bank. Bank manager successfully paid for ink. Control wrote, find a check, type a check, managed to coil ink all over the pull wrote, find a check, type a check. Output, exit. I went to Bada in my external account. Hello, I'm a Hera, out, and his lace overshelved. Amahara was exposed, and his lace overshelved in my external account. Oops, said M. Kerwent. Spend more time to the market. You can imagine what happened next. Send more time to the market. Said the Lord. There was a big pyramid stack of soup. Clumsy was the next visit supermarket. There was a large pyramid stack of soup. Send more time to the market. Mr. Clumsy called. Oh, no. Well, there was a big pyramid stack of soup. Kim said to Clumsy to close his hand. Whoops, said Clumsy to close his head. Eva was raised and able to outgrow farms and from the other side in many ways. He's working really hard on the road. Put farmer through the penalty. Home humps. I could get a couple in a lot of ways. 2 at the Duck Lake. Oops, Mr. said news. Please don't say please. Bint welcome. Sit Kamuk please. Farmers and peasants, do not mention it, says Bint welcome in Kamuk. Please, farmers, you can bring eggs. You can bring eggs. Claus went home, but when he went to the bathroom, his sweet little voice was the first thing they said on the first day. But when there was a bath on the first day, I got it. And Claus came home and somehow met. They put it on the Kobal's head, fell into the basket. Sometimes he could convert. White food began to be then given. Started to eat camelodon with a supernatural voice. Went downstairs to dinner and was concerned a scale to eat fried eggs. He went to get eggs, mixed eggs, and eggs. Soup of the casserole boiled above. Soup of the casserole that boiled above. I think we should sleep. Whoops, said the Clumsy. Mr. Did, you stupid idiot. All rights reserved for the good night at the end. Oh, bed linen is carefully and whoops. Kind name all rights reserved for the good night, and the bed is completely closed. So that is Mr. Clumsy, Google translated over and over again. If you want more weird stories like this, let me know. And I will see you all next time.